Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. We kindly request 5 minutes of your patience as students are joining the webinar, please. Hello, everyone. Thanks for waiting. Let's get started with the webinar for the day. A very good afternoon to everyone from Wollongong, Australia. Welcome to UOW College Australia's International Student Understanding Your Offer webinar. I'm Madhumita Tyagarajan, your host for the night. Next slide, thank you. As first steps, we would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today. I would also like to pay my respects to elders past and present through acknowledgement of country. We acknowledge the country for Aboriginal people is an interconnected set of ancient and sophisticated relationships. The University of Wollongong spreads across many interrelated Aboriginal countries that are bound by the sacred landscape and intimate relationship with that landscape since creation. From Sydney to Southern Highlands to South Coast, from freshwater, bitter water to salt, from city to urban to rural. The university acknowledges the devastating impact of colonization on our campus's footprint and commits ourselves to truth telling, healing, and education. Next slide, thank you. We request your attention to the housekeeping rules for the day. This session will be recorded for future reference and for participants unable to attend live. We will email the recording within 2 to 3 business days. Please please note down your questions throughout the webinar and use the dedicated question and answer box for asking questions. Please avoid using the chat box as the responses wouldn't be able to reach us. Please do not share private or sensitive information or student numbers in the chat or Q&A function. Following the presentation, our panel tonight will answer some of the questions via live question and answers box. And we also have a team of staff behind the scenes typing response to your questions via text. Next slide, thank you. Moving on to the agenda for the day, we do have an exciting lineup. We would first like to welcome you to UOW College, hear from our Diploma of Business teacher, a student through student experience and journey at UOW College, explore the accommodation options available on campus, address admissions update, and lastly, attend the questions and answers you have for us. Once again, welcome to UOW College. I'm Madhumita Tyagarajan, your student host for the night. At UOW College, our ambition is to create a more educated, better informed world by assisting people to advance their careers through our study programs. Since 1988, more than 30,000 students from 70 different nationalities have graduated from our college. Next slide, thanks. We have 3 UOW campuses in Australia at Wollongong, Sydney CBD, and Liverpool, as displayed on our pictorial. Next slide, thank you. UOW College offers a wide range of pathway programs to the University of Wollongong, English courses, and career-ready qualifications. The course options for international students at UOW College is of wide variety, covering all fields as shown here. Today's webinar will focus on Diploma of Business, Fast Track, and Standard sessions. The Diploma of Business is an in-depth preparation program which provides guaranteed entry into the second level of UOW Bachelor of Business and Bachelor of Business Administration at UOW Wollongong and Liverpool campus. A nationally recognized higher education diploma qualification is awarded upon completion, which can be used to pursue entry-level careers opportunities once graduating. Moving on to the next slide, we have a teacher from UOW College address you for the day. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Lovely to see you all and to be here presenting with you. So the first slide, please. So why study at UOW and particularly at the college? So I've broken it into 3 areas, into learning and all the wonderful things that you will learn, the structure and the value. I haven't actually gone into a lot of depth, or I won't be going into a lot of depth on each of the I guess, sessions that we're looking at, but we can talk about that later. but I did just want to touch on those three things. So next slide, please. So learning, why do UOW College? And I have found, being a teacher at the college, the learning here, and I've also been a teacher at UOW, the learning at UOW College is unique. There's smaller class sizes, there's smaller tutorials and lectures. There's greater participation rate in tutorials, and it's really relevant to business knowledge. We like to bring it all back to our theory, back to what is relevant in the business world, and the camaraderie that the students have with their peers is unique because it is less intimidating. So it's really a wonderful, fun time. So the learning is fun. The environment provides opportunity to practice current business practices and theory, and to learn from one another. And one of the things that I stress, particularly with our international students, is that they share their international business knowledge with the domestic students. So because we can't understand your business practice internationally unless we actually are involved overseas. So it's really interesting to hear your feedback and all your experience as you've either practiced or been involved in another country and another business experience overseas. So it's learning from one another and knowing that we, even as teachers, we don't know all the answers, and we haven't had every single experience internationally. So it's learning and growing and making lifelong friends as we go along in this, I guess, space together. So what will you learn? So learning outcomes are focused on our graduate qualities, UOW College graduate qualities, which link in and dovetail in with the UOW graduate qualities as well. So there's a broad perspective to be able to make an important contribution to society and your chosen field. So you're thoroughly prepared for success in the workplace, and you are highly sought after by employers as well. So it's a really great course to do. And of course, you know, once you've finished the year, then you're able then to go to UOW. So the time, 20 hours of classes per week, and it's about a total of 30, 40 hours, 35 to 40 hours total per week when you add in your study time, your assignment time as well. We would like to see you being diligent in doing those hours as well. You're informed, you're independent learners. This is what we would hope that our students would become, and problem solvers. You are effective communicators, and you are responsible for your own learning as well. So we really do foster all of those traits within our students. So next slide, please. So the structure and the graduate qualities broken down a little bit more. So the overall structure of the course is 3 years. There's 4 subjects per year, so to complete the diploma. So the informed basic knowledge of each area of study and understanding all of the issues, the know-how to apply this knowledge, being an independent learner. So critical analysis is really key, and being able to engage with new ideas, open inquiry, active learning, and being able to evaluate as well is really important. To demonstrate introductory levels of being creative, being a really good problem solver, logical and critical thinking skills, and to be able to respond and be flexible and thorough, and to be an effective communicator as well. So to articulate and convey ideas effectively, to work collaboratively and engage with your peers in different settings as well, and to be responsible, understanding how decisions can affect others and make ethically informed choices. So, and being responsible, taking responsibility for your own learning and completing your tasks on time, which is really important. Okay, next slide. So, value. How do we add value to our students? So I think the main things, we are teachers who really care about our students. We really want to see them grow in their academic life, but also in their own personal life with their friend circle, and developing in that way is so important. We have support services like counselling services as well to support, individually support our students if they need it. Small class sizes, which I've touched on, special events, celebrations, which happen within the classroom and externally at UOW College as well. The location, of course, Wollongong is such a beautiful place, and there's plenty of time to enjoy the joy of being in Wollongong, the beaches and the mountains, and even some shopping if you like shopping, and just the fun of being on campus. We have a beautiful campus. There's lots of things happening all the time, and yeah, I'm sure you're going to love it. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Madhumita. So, hello everyone. My name is Achal. I am a current student at the UOW the university, and also a previous UOW college student. And I also happen to work at the UOW College as a student relations coordinator and a PAT leader. Can you go to the next slide, please? Thank you. All right, so I'm just going to give a little bit of introduction about myself and my academic journey so far. So, like I said, my name is Achal Bhakta. I am a 23-year-old, and I come from a very small town in India. So I moved to Australia about 3 years ago. So if you do the math, it's pretty much 2020, starting of 2020. We all know what happened then. So yes, so far I've been in Australia for 3 years. I started my first year with a diploma in business at the UOW College, after which I moved on to the university to pursue my bachelor's in commerce, doing marketing, majoring in marketing. All right. So other than that, my work experiences so far, I have been working as a peer learning staff member, which sort of gives me a first-hand experience at communicating with students and helping them out with their academic problems. I have been working as a student relations coordinator as well, which again is setting up activities for them, helping them navigate through their problems at the college and the university. So that is for me. Can you please go to the next slide? Thank you so much. Great. So let's talk about my journey of my diploma through the pandemic. So like I said, I moved here in March of 2020, which we all know was just before the lockdown started. It was very difficult as all of us were pushed online. All of it went online classes, everything via Zoom. So it was very difficult as an international student to move to a new country and learn everything from the start, all online. All right, so I did have to navigate through all the challenges, and I like to call myself and other students like me PSLD students, which is pandemic-stricken lockdown students. It's a pretty long term, but it's very accurate to our situation. Yes, so we faced a multitude of first-time experiences. We had a lot of problems, given that it's a new education system for us as well. There was a lot of learning, a lot of first-time experiences. However, for me and other students like me, I'm pretty sure we proactively sought for assistance, which is talking to the teachers, talking to our peers, talking to other counselors, and seeking supportive services, which is one of the best things I've found so far at the UOW College. I have had help from pretty much, I've had help in terms of academic help, and also personal and financial help as well. So that is one thing that really helped me work my way through. If not for these services, I probably would have been on my flight back home after the first month in Australia. All right. These services, for example, there's something called a peer learning program at the UOW College, which are usually for new students. I would say it mainly targets international students like me. There's a lot of learning in terms of the education system. I never knew what referencing was. There's a lot of different things with formatting and stuff like that. So very little things that are still important for new students. I got the needed help, the help that I needed from the UOW College. Can you please move on to the next slide? Thank you so much. Great. So UOW's vital support services that transformed my journey. Well, it really did transform my journey. Like I said, there's a lot of questions that you come with, a lot of confusion when you are starting university. And I arrived in Australia feeling very lost. I had to find my way in a new environment, you can say so. But I explored the resources that were available on the UOW College's website, and also by talking to my tutors like Alison. Alison was one of my first teachers at UOW College, and that is where I found all the student support services. These services, I can say, pretty much became like a lifeline to my academic journey. I'm immensely grateful for all the comprehensive help and the shared experiences that I've had so far in my journey at the UOW College. So thank you so much, and that's all for me.
Hello everyone, my name's Alison. I am the Admissions Homestay and Study Tours Manager here at UOW College. Thank you for joining us today, and I'll be running through a few things with you about accommodation and admissions. So for accommodation, you do have a variety of options available. We have our own UOW accommodation here on campus. So as you can see on the left of the screen, Wollongong campus, and there's Coolabong, Bangalay and Graduate House. There are two other options for UOW accommodation, which are off-site, but still very easily accessible to get to the main campus, which is International House and Campus East. Staying in student accommodation is a great way of building networks and friendships, a lot of fun, and lots of support available for students when they do come in to stay on campus. But there are other options available as well. So next slide, please. Wollongong in itself is, we call it a city, but to many people, it may be considered more of a town, a large country town on the coast. So it's quite a small community, but the best thing about Wollongong is, although it's intimate community, it's very close and easy to get to Sydney from here, 85 kilometres to the Opera House. So lots of students staying in Wollongong will go up to Sydney frequently on the weekends to enjoy everything that Sydney has to offer, but then come back to a nice community here in Wollongong where they can live and study and be supported. So we do have a variety of beautiful surf beaches, and it's a very nice climate. If you're currently holding an offer, you'll be coming with us in summer sessions. So the average temperature around then will be around 27 degrees. So Wollongong's population is roughly around 300,000. So a lot smaller than other cities in Australia and around the world, but that means you will run into your classmates when you're out in Wollongong. You'll get to know the local community. You'll be well supported, and you won't be a stranger for long here in Wollongong. And next slide, thank you. So here at UOW College, we have our own homestay team, and you can apply for homestay through our website. So our own homestay program is really focused on trying to support our students studying here and make sure that they are well supported when in their studies and also in their personal lives. So our homestay families are local families and hosts that offer a safe and supportive environment. So a family and a host can be a variety of different combinations. So you might be placed with a single host, or it may be a family, it may be a couple. There's a lot of different hosts. But the main thing that we say that all our hosts are they're welcoming, they're inclusive, and they're here as they have a genuine interest in supporting students. So we do background checks on all our hosts and ensure student safety. We visit their homes, we meet with them regularly, and we make sure they hold the relevant compliance checks. So our families enjoy hosting and interacting with our students. It's a cultural exchange, so you won't just be learning about Australian culture, but they'll also be learning about your culture. So our families know that students are at the centre of our decision making, and we are looking to enhance the student experience. So some students may want to stay in homestay for their entire studies. Others may just wish to stay in homestay for the first few weeks when they arrive to get that extra support to help them settle in. So if you are interested in staying in homestay, or you haven't quite got your accommodation finalised yet, homestay is a great option for the first 4 weeks you commit to. And you can use it as we call a soft landing. So you can be supported when you first come, and then when you're confident and ready and you've found some alternative accommodation, you can definitely move out when you are ready to. So it's again building your network here in Wollongong and people that you know in the community who can help you. Next slide, thank you. So as admissions coordinator here at UOW College, we are a small dedicated team, and we process the applications for our students here. So next slide, please. We process offers for standalone courses, English programs, academic courses, vocational programs, as well as our package offers. So if you have a UOW College Foundation or Diploma plus Bachelor, it would have been processed by myself or one of my team. So we do have UOW has their own processing team, and they look after English plus Bachelors or direct entry applications or English plus Masters. Next slide, thank you. So hopefully by now everyone here has already applied, and we would have already done English and academic assessment for your application. We would also automatically assess you for scholarship eligibility. Now, if you'd given us your GTE screening form in your application, if that's required from for your nationality, we would have assessed that as well. And then hopefully it means you've got your offer all ready to study with us. Please do have a look at your offer carefully and check the conditions, as you will need to make sure all conditions are cleared before you can accept your offer and move forward with your offer. So have a look through your offer letter. Any college conditions must be cleared, and once they are, we will send you an email, let you know you've got a valid offer and you'll be able to accept it. So to accept it, you will sign and return your offer acceptance form together with the relevant deposits for your UOW College course and your Bachelor course, as well as overseas health cover if required. Once we have received all that and that's cleared by a flywire, your ECOE will be issued. If you've applied through an agent, that will get sent directly to your agent. And then the next steps from there is to apply for your visa and start getting ready to come and study with us. Next slide, please. So just to run through a bit more about our GTE process, if you do have a GTE condition on your offer, it is incredibly important that you work towards getting that cleared as soon as possible. We have a genuine temporary entrant form, our GTE form, and we just ask that you read the questions, each question, and answer it to your full ability. If you do have any supporting documents, it's definitely recommend putting any supporting documents in, especially if you've had a bit of a study gap since you completed year 12, any evidence you've got about what you've been doing, work experience, further study is always appreciated, so we can make sure we're assessing your application in full. If you have had any visa refusals or cancellation documents, it is important that you include those as well, and any proof of financial capacity to fund your studies. So there's details on the form there of what's required, or we'll send you an email back if we need anything further before we're able to clear your condition. Next slide, please. So when you do make payment, Flywire is the best option. You do need to make separate payments for your UOW College and your UOW deposits. We have 2 separate accounts, so please make sure you follow the instructions in the emails about making sure you're paying the correct amount of money into the correct account, so we can get that ECOE processed as quickly as possible for you. So if you are having a package offer, you do have the benefit of having a reduced UOW deposit. On your offer letter, it defaults to letting you know your deposit is 1 session for UOW, but because you have a package, we have a special arrangement where you only have to pay the $5,000 towards your UOW offer, as well as their student services and amenities fee. So an example of what your deposit you'd pay if you had a diploma or foundations package plus bachelor is you'd pay your UOW College first session in full. You'd pay $5,000 towards your UOW offer, your overseas health cover if required, and your student services and amenities fee for UOW. If you are onshore or you do have somebody onshore who's making payment on your behalf, please do contact us as we can support with that. We just need to make sure you're filling out the appropriate authority form to allow them to make payment on your behalf. Next slide, please. So you'll see here and on our website, we've got all our key dates listed. We do encourage you, once you have your ECOE, to please apply for your visa as soon as possible, as it's really important to get here before the orientation and enrolment dates. Orientation and enrolment is a great opportunity for you to meet classmates, get familiar with campus life, form networks, figure out how to use online systems, and do all those teething things that you want to have sorted out before classes start. So if you're going to give yourself the best opportunity in your studies, coming to orientation and enrolment is really, really important. So we have that running over a whole week, and at times there is course-specific information as well. So it's not just general UOW College information, it's also specific to your course that you'll be studying. Once classes start on the 23rd of October, all classes are face-to-face on campus with the return to compliance, which means you are getting that great level of support and engagement in your class with your classmates and with your teachers as well. Now, we do have a mid-session break here, which is a very exciting Christmas break that you will get a chance to experience what life here in Australia is like over the Christmas holidays. It's a lovely time in Wollongong where there's lots of activities going on, and it's a great time to also explore the region as well, or take that quick journey back home if you so require. When classes do start back, though, it is straight back for a few weeks and then into exams, a bit of a break, and then results are released. So that's our summer session. Most offer holders here will have a 2 or 3 session course. So after summer session, your results are declared and you'll progress into your next session if you meet all the entry requirements, and then it would be autumn session if it's just 2 sessions and straight through to UOW by mid-year next year, or a 3-session course, you've got 1 more session to complete. Next slide, please. Wonderful. So I'll pass over to Maha, our Global Student Recruitment Coordinator here at UOW College.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Alison. Okay, I'm just making sure my mic's working. It is okay. Okay, so I'll be running the Q&A session for tonight. Thank you everyone for being a lovely host and providing with such amazing information to all our potential students. Let's move forward and we're going to open the floor now for anyone to use the Q&A function on the Zoom link, and you can raise your questions there. I will be reading out the questions and I'll open it to the panelists to answer the questions. So you can start messaging your questions in. Just give it a couple of minutes. Don't be shy. Please ask, because this is the opportunity. You have everyone from the respective backgrounds, and they would be able to assist you with any inquiries you have in regards to either admissions or your course structure, or if you want to know anything about your student life experience, please go ahead and ask us any questions that you have. Okay, I have seen that someone's raised their hand. Could you please, instead of raising your hands, could you please put in your questions in the Q&A function that is on your screen? There'll be a Q&A chat box. If you click on it, you will be able to type in your questions and ask us. Perfect. Got the first question in. Do you provide under 18 welfare accommodation? I think I'll just open that question for Alison.
Sure. So here at UOW College, our homestay program is able to provide under 18 welfare accommodation. We have specific families who offer that level of support and care for students, and they work closely with our student advisors and the teachers to make sure the students are well supported and well connected here. So there will be regular check-ins for under 18 students with the student advisors and with their homestay host to make sure they are being cared for in an appropriate manner. And if there's anything that they need help with, that's what we're here at the college to provide: the homestay hosts and the homestay team, the student advisors and their teachers.
Thank you so much, Alison. Moving on to our next question. Okay, we've got a couple of questions and I'm just struggling to find out which one was the next. I hope I'm not skipping anyone. So we've got another question. So they're asking, ma'am, how much time it will take to clear the GTE and COE from UOW? Well, I'm guessing this is for college.
Sure, let me answer that question again. So here at UOW College, if you send through your GT form, you've got conditions to clear, we'll generally action those within a couple of days. Same with COE, if you send through your offer acceptance form and your Flywire deposits, we usually get your COE issued as soon as that Flywire funds clear into our account. So that can take a couple of days. So the sooner you send your documentation through, the sooner we can get that processed for you. We do ask that you don't put any student numbers in the chat. So if you do have anything specific about your application, you will receive an email after this webinar, and you're welcome to reply to that email if you needed us to check anything out on your applications.
Thank you so much, Alison. Moving on to the next question. Minimum percentage students needs to secure in a foundation course in order to progress into a UG course. Another question for you, Alison.
Sure, I would have to look that up on the course progression.
So I can take that one, Alison.
That'd be wonderful. Thank you,
Thank you so much, Henry.
Okay, so if you're in foundation studies, well, it depends. If you're in foundation studies 2 session, in your first session, get at least 50% for all of your subjects, and you move to your second session. Then to progress into your bachelor degree at the university, you need to get at least 60% for every subject in your final session. If you were to be a foundation studies 3 session student, it's 50% for each subject in your first and second sessions, and then in your final session, same thing. at least 60% for each subject, and then you can go through to your bachelor offer.
Thank you so much for that, Henry. Moving on to the next question. When will UOW College conduct interview for Diploma of Business? So in regards to that, you will soon receive a email from the college's end requesting you for the interview, and you'll have all the details mentioned on it as well. I would just request you to just be a bit patient, and we should be sending it out to you by next week for sure. Thank you. Moving on to the next question. Why UOW College send the offer letter too late? I have applied 3 months ago, but on the 1st of August, they sent me the offer letter and they asked me to send some documents, but still they haven't confirmed my offer letter.
Well, typically we have about a 2 to 3 week turnaround on sending offers out. So it does sound like there might have been a bit of a lost email or something there. So when you do get a copy of this presentation tomorrow, please do send an email back with your student number and we can double check everything's in order there. But you shouldn't be waiting 3 months for an offer. That shouldn't be something that happens.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Alison. We've got another question in. Is there any age bar for admission? As far as I know, we don't, but I'll let Alison answer that if there's any specifics.
Was that a minimum age you were looking at?
I'm guessing because just the question just reads, is there any age bar for admission? So I'm guessing it would be a minimum age that they're wanting to know. Yep.
So minimum age typically is 15, but also meeting the academic entry requirements, which generally are a year 12 equivalents or higher. But all the entry requirements can be found on our website and in course finder for each individual course. Some courses do have higher age entry requirements, such as the Diploma of Nursing, but everyone here today should be here for the Diploma of Business. So business would be 15.
Thank you so much, Alison. Moving on to the next question, which is for a homestay. That will be again for you, Alison. We've got a question asking, I want to ask about registration stay at homestay. I've registered in Kulabong Village, but because of 500 USD for the service fee, which is too high, so I want to change to homestay. Do I need to pay the registration fee again? And do I need to pay the 500 USD for the service fee in homestay?
So homestay charges an application fee and the first 4 weeks stay. So we don't charge a service fee of 500 US. That's something that we're not familiar with in homestay. That must be something about student accommodation only. So in homestay, you pay your application fee, you pay your first 4 weeks. And then if you're happy to stay beyond that, then you'll pay generally 2 weeks at a time in advance.
Thank you. Moving forward, we've got another question. How much time would the UOW College take to respond for giving an unconditional email? So usually we don't, like, college does not take too long, but it depends on if you've received the documents. It might be worth checking with your agency if you've applied through one, just to make sure that the documents have reached us, because at times is that we don't receive the documents and the students are waiting on their end. So it might be worthwhile just giving a check, or else you can always contact us later with your student number and we can try and find it if it's been lost in the system, and we can, chase that for you for sure. I hope that was correct, Alison. Just making sure.
Correct. So students who already have an offer and just need to clear conditions, I'm just looking at our applications at the moment and we're working on yesterday's. So there shouldn't be lengthy waits at all there if you've already got your offer and you just need to clear your conditions.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got a different question apart from admissions, which is nice, and I might get Achal to help me with that. Could you provide information on different accommodations options on campus?
Yeah, for sure, I would. All right, so I would say we can categorize in two different types. One is accommodation on campus, and one is accommodation off campus. So when we talk about accommodation on campus, you can include the uni accommodation services, which you can find the link on the university website. So mainly we have 3 accommodations in UOW. Like the Wollongong campus. So we have Coolabong, we have Bangalore, and we have Campus East. So depending on what you prefer, there's a lot of different aspects to choosing the exact accommodation, like the accommodation. So it can be something like the rent, it could be, you know, how close or far it is to the university and other amenities. Other than that, there is accommodation off campus, which is what I use. Accommodation off campus can also include homestay, which is pretty much living with, you know, a family in Australia. I think it is the best option, as you can get, I would say, more of like a soft landing in Australia. Other than that, you can still find accommodation on various websites. Like there's a website called flatmates.com. A lot of people advertise it on Facebook as well. So if you want to look for accommodation on campus, please search on the UOW website. And other than that, there's different resources. You just have to search accommodation off campus Wollongong, and you'll find a bunch of options there. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for that.
Maha, could I
Yeah.
just follow up on that answer
Sure.
about subject requirements?
Sure.
So I see that Nikhil here has asked a follow-up question, 50% for each subject or overall 50%. So the answer I gave previously, the student had asked about foundation studies, but for the Diploma of Business, whether you're in the 3-session Diploma of Business or the 2-session Diploma of Business, as long as you get at least, you finish with a final subject mark. So for each subject, you have at least 50%, and you've passed all of your subjects in your diploma, you can then go through to the bachelor. And having done the diploma, because your diploma includes 8 subjects, which have UOW credit transfer, so they count towards your degree. So when you finish the Diploma of Business and you've passed every subject with at least 50%, you go on to the university, you will have your diploma, and you will have what's called 48 points of credit transfer. So 6 points for each of your 8 subjects, and that's equivalent to 1 year of the bachelor. So within the diploma, you will have done your first year, and then you'll move on to either your Bachelor of Business or your Bachelor of Business Administration offer.
Thank you so much for that, Henry. Let's move on to the next question. Can I apply for the bachelor's scholarship after I graduate from the diploma course? So in regards to this, when you get a packaged offer for Diploma of Business with a Bachelor of Business, the scholarship is applied to both your offers. It's automatically applied. A student of either UOW College or UOW does not have to separately apply for a scholarship. It gets automatically applied to your scholarship, to your offer letter. And if there is a chance for you to go, I'm guessing this question is more if you finish and do you get more after that? So I think Alison would be able to help me with that.
Sure. So if you do perform very well in your diploma studies, you may be eligible for the Excellence Scholarship on your UOW course. So when UOW is applying all your credits for those subjects you've completed and looking at your results there, if you are eligible for the Excellence Scholarship, Academic Excellence, they would apply it at that point in time for you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Moving on to the next one, we've got someone's asking the maximum limit of backlog accepted, which would be basically that they're trying to say the number of failed grades accepted by college.
We look at the overall academic results, so I definitely recommend putting in as much evidence as you have, as we will look at subject-specific performance and what those subjects were. And, you know, we do have the lovely Henry, who's been talking here today, as our head of program academics, and he at times can look at applications on a case-by-case scenario as well, just to make sure we're setting you up in the best course for success is what our aim is. So we don't want to put you in a course which is going to be too difficult for you, but you might want to put in a statement of saying why you struggled in certain subjects and why you feel that you would do better with your studies when you come to UOW College. So the more evidence you can put in, the better.
Perfect, thank you. We've got a different question in regards to, I think it's fee support that they wanted to ask, or is that free? I'm not quite sure if it's a fee or a free. Free support services, yes, definitely there are support services with college that's there. But I'm not sure about whether it's fee or free, but we'll go with free because it's written free.
Yeah, and look, we have if any students are experiencing personal problems of any kind, we have a counsellor in the college, qualified counsellor. We have student advisors. Students have access to online support. It's called Studiosity. You'll see a little bit more about that in orientation, and that's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, where you can go online and get help with any of your subjects. We have peer learning support. So you will find, once you're here and we go through all of this with you at orientation, there is a lot of support there for you if you need it and if you take it up. So yes, and there's no additional cost to you to access that.
Yep, thank you for that. Let's move on. Okay, so we've got a question from Canem. She's, I think, there are three questions for it. The first one is, are you accepting 2022 12th pass out students?
Sure. So we're definitely happy to look at applications from 2022 pass out students, but again, you'd probably want to put some information in there about what you've been doing since you finished your Year 12 equivalent, to demonstrate what you've been working towards. It might be short courses, and you might have some evidence that you could put to support that. So we just need to have a bit more detail about how come you didn't jump straight into studies last year and what you've been doing since then while you've been preparing to come and study with us.
Perfect. The next question that we have, can a student apply with 3 academic subjects?
Again, we'd have to look at the qualification and assess the complete qualification that you've put in and what your scores are. So please do submit an application and we can look at your situation. I can see you've also got a question here about, are under 18 students allowed to work part-time? They are allowed, but the student advisors will work with you to make sure it is appropriate times, to make sure your welfare and safety is paramount. So I do believe there was a student who wanted to work at a fast food chain and wouldn't be getting home until 2 o'clock in the morning, and there was no public transport. So that request was declined as it wasn't seen to be the most appropriate employment opportunity for the students. But it is very common for students to have a job while they're studying part-time. Angel has worked in many different roles over her studies, as there is opportunities to be employed here on campus and in the local community. As long as it's within your visa requirements and you're getting approval from the student advisors and talking with your homestay family to make sure it's an appropriate place.
We've got another question. Are you accepting applications from Punjab, Haryana, Gujarat, and Telangana? Yes, we are. We definitely are. We do not have any issues. You can definitely send in your applications if you're coming from any of these states from India. You got another one. Is maths mandatory for UG computer program? I'm not quite sure of that.
Well, yeah, there's no there's no maths requirement for entry to the diplomas. So for undergraduate computer program, well, presumably you'd be looking at going through the Diploma of IT, which can get students into a Bachelor of Computer Programming and Bachelor of Computer Science and a couple of other IT degrees. There's no maths requirement, but the maths teachers say they like students to have probably the equivalent of about 60% for what would be the New South Wales HSC Maths Standard 2 subject. So not an incredibly high level of mathematics, but certainly if you're going into programming, you are going to need some maths ability. But there isn't a maths requirement for entry to the course.
Thank you so much, Henry. We'll just wait if we have any other questions coming in. Kanem says, thank you so much. You're most welcome, Kanem.
I have a question for Anshel. Anshel, what would be your best tip or trick you could say to students looking to prepare and come here to study with us here at UOW College?
Right. Is this after the offer letter? Because it'll be a bit different before.
Yes. Most of these students should have offer letters. So when they're preparing to come, what's one thing you wish someone had told you or stuck with you before you came here to Australia?
There's actually a lot. So usually, I think once you get the offer letter, you sort of, feel that relief that, the main part is done. Now I can relax, but you cannot. So you have to do a lot of preparation because you'll be moving to a new country, right? So I would say definitely start with making sure you have all the documents with you, properly filed, and maybe make copies as well. And make sure you bring them here if in case you ever need it in the future. Second thing I would say is that apply for your visa as soon as possible, because if it is late, you will be missing out on some of the important course content that goes on in the first few weeks. I made that mistake. I was 3 weeks late. And trust me, it is not a pleasant experience trying to cram up 3 weeks of studying and everything else in 1 week. So definitely apply for visa, collect your documents, make sure you talk to students who are already in Australia, if you have any friends or family members who are staying here, just to get a bit of idea of what kinds of things to carry. Maybe the weather may be different here. Maybe you need to buy some specific, clothes. It's very cold in Australia at the moment. And other than that, book your flights. Keep researching on places that you'd want to visit or you'd want to stay at. And one very important thing, so there are certain groups on Facebook. If you wish to talk to people who are here already, or if you'd want to make friends, just before arriving, just pop in a message there. Everyone's very friendly in Australia, and you'll be able to meet some very nice people who can help you in the long run. So that is it. And if you have any other questions, well, you can message me. So, yeah. I think you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. Thanks, Achal. Yeah, I think Alison, are you typing an answer for the student? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, we can wait for a couple of more questions. Just to let everyone know, we've got a little chat box as well on your on your Zoom. If you have a look, it's right next to your Q&A button. All helpful links for accommodation, anything to do with admissions, about college and everything has been posted there. So it might be worthwhile for you all to have a check with it as well. Okay, we'll just give it a couple of more minutes, and then we'll just see if there's any other questions. If not, we might just be wrapping up the session really soon. But just I think while we're waiting for questions to come, maybe if we could have Madhu, would you like to just like share a couple of the experiences that's there on campus, like various clubs and societies that we have, and just give a quick snippet of what they could expect when they're on shore.
Good. Thank you, Maha. I'm happy to give some information about the clubs and societies on campus. So we do have a lot of clubs and societies on campus focusing on various extracurricular and academical sections. We do have clubs that also cater competitions, whether it's sports or it's extracurricular like dance, cheerleading, and so. It's a great way to meet new friends and also have a community where you can share common interests. Every Wednesday, we have the university's Pulse set up a lot of camps with these societies. They run a lot of events on a weekly basis where you could come attend when time permits, even during class sessions and recess week. We do have a team set by Pulse as well as the UOW campuses as societies that can just help you find a new hobby in case you don't feel comfortable. So please check out on all of the Pulse website and also the UOW College and UOW websites. We do have often notifications from students asking for like events or like assistance for clubs. So please have a look in there and feel free to message one of the student ambassadors to the live chat that Maha's gonna introduce later on. We're happy to give you one-to-one attention and find what club's best for you and academic interests are for as well.
Thank you so much, Madhu. And also just a tip and like a fact for everyone. When you do arrive on campus and you enter the college doors, there is a beautiful piano right next to the entrance. It's a beautiful piano, and I've heard so many students playing their music over there. And some of you who might have an interest for music definitely should go and give it a try. It's I've seen a lot of students relaxing just after their classes, or they're just going to catch up with another one, and they're just relaxing with their friends and just playing some music and having some fun. Are there any other questions? We'll just this would be the last round that we would ask for any questions if you have any. If not, we might just be just moving ahead a bit with the slides, and we'll let you know about the contact options, and we'll be closing for the day. Okay. I'll just give it a minute, just if in case someone's typing. No rush, it's okay. Okay, so we don't have any other questions. Well, you have that chat function still. If you need anything further, the links are mentioned over there. Just moving along, this is our contact us page. So future students, you can call us if you're within Australia. So the number is 1300367869. If you are international, which most of you would be, so it is +61 for you, the country code, and then 242213218. And if you would like to email us, please email us at futurestudents@uow.edu.au. The business hours for our Australian campuses are from Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. That is according to the Australian Eastern Standard Time. So whenever you do make a call, just check it up and just see what time it is in Sydney, and just call us accordingly, so that you're able to have a response from any of the future students members. Yeah, well, thank you so much for attending. And I would like to thank all our panelists for tonight for helping and all the background support. Thank you so much, everyone. And I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their night. Thank you.
Thank you, Maha.
Thank you.
Thank you.